I just want to leave you with this thought. The revolutionary government in Niger has just increased the price of uranium that it exports on the world market to 200 euros per kilogram. It was previously paying, or rather charging, 80 cents. The French were getting Niger's uranium for 80 cents per kilogram, and the world market price is 200 euros per kilogram, which is what little Macron will have to pay from now on. You see, it pays to stand up for your rights. That's what the people in Niger have done. It remains to be seen if the people in Nigeria will now do the same.
With that being said, I want to welcome everybody to today's live stream. This is that's actually the most handsome, yakable African issues, utterly pumping a physical husband. And as usual, this is the point where I introduce someone that is not here. You're all welcome to our weekly or Sundayly live stream session. But what we are looking at today is something that we seems not to really understand that much, because the license to steal the wealth of Africa or Africans has been placed into the hands of, should I call it the West? Do I agree to that? That it seems, or what we have observed over the years, right from the period that the African strong-bodied men have been forcefully taken out of Africa with our resources cheaply obtained from us, either because they came in as visitors, but they decided to use the subject or the language of communication of doing businesses with our forefathers. They decided to use their own language instead of using our own language, so that our forefathers can know how to go through whatever they are signing, because it's like there is an agreement that that's a very strong one. Like there was an agreement that legitimized the concession. Whenever somebody is speaking too much of grammar, that means there is corruption involved. It's like we have signed something in Africa that has decided to license the Western world to have the anointing to steal from us. Yes, that is what I'm just trying to bring out with all this tough English. And please, for those of you that have been saying that I am too much of African ancestry, that sounds like ancestry. For those of you that have been saying that I am too much of African accent, you have not seen much, because I hope to reduce the way I try to speak phonetics. Now, I'm going to be speaking my own language, because you cannot steal from us to the extent that you even steal my expression, because English is not my expression. My expression is Onjawalo Lembibai. That is thick Yoruba language from the best part of the world called Africa. It's like Onjawalo Lembibai. They are stealing from us. And whenever there is an attempt for the people to say they are standing up for their rights, what we see is that they cook up one story or the other and bring in what we call the demon that is called craziness, the demon of craze called democracy. They try to flash that and nickname the African people that are actually not selfish, fighting for their people. But today we are going to look at this. Thank God is not even a black African that is doing this video. We just heard from him what he said. Look at Niger, not Nigeria, Niger, just our closed door neighbor here. France, otherwise called Francais. France has been stealing from Africa, God knows when. God knows when. But according to the video I just played, is it true? Can it be true that France has been getting uranium from Niger at the price of 8 cents? 80 cents, sorry. I'm even making it worse. 8 cents. 80 cents. You are getting the natural resources of the people of my God. I think I have to speak my language tonight. You are taking uranium from Niger at the price of less than $1, whereas the world market is selling a kilogram of uranium for over 200 euro. And this has been going on for God knows how many years this has been going on until the so-called people that they have always told us, oh, don't let them take over your government. It's going to be a chaos. Let us embrace democracy. Demonstration of craziness, according to Fela Kuti, that sang demonstration of craze. I don't understand why this is happening. You are getting resources from a place, from a people, from a whole nation. You are stealing from a whole generation of the Nigerians. And you are paying them just what? 80 cents, less than $1, for a commodity that the per kilogram is well over 200 euro. That is more than wickedness. That's what I call ole ojuyobo. So with that being said, for those of you that you know how we do it here, you would like to join us in this live stream. I'm just going to put up the link here for you to join this conversation. If you think this white man was actually saying a lie, then you need to listen to the video once again while I put up the link so that you can join this live stream. And if you are from the J, you can communicate to us. Tell us if this is actually true or not, because I don't believe that humanity will treat fellow humanity, human being will treat fellow human being such way. You are killing a whole country, using it to develop yourself. And to think about it, that this macaroni guy, sorry, Macron, this macaroni guy is actually a young president, so to say. So well, because the way you people are dealing with Africans, and you want us to be following your design system of government, the system of government that we don't seem to get benefit from it. What we get is there is no light, there is no good road. What we get from it is to have idiots sitting on top of intelligent minds and controlling the intelligent mind to look more stupid than they are, or putting up structures in place that is not helping anyone. So with that being said, I'm just going to put up this. Let me put up my invite here. If you want to join us live, kindly join us live, because the conversation tonight is not going to take long, because I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be infuriated, because how can a country leaving their own shore, coming to Africa, where you are getting the natural resources? I suppose that the economics that I studied in school says that what the determinant of price is supposed to be the interaction between demand and supply. And when demand and supply they have meted themselves until what we are supposed to have is what? Equilibrium point, which is the point at which price fixation is enshrined. But no, France is what we call in Nigeria Ajeronjegu of the world, the eaters of flesh and bone. They crush the people, they crush the economy till there is nothing left. They leave them with rubbles. So please kindly join to tonight's live stream before I get so angry with these people. Kindly join the studio. Can you join our live stream? Live stream. How do I spell the live stream? Because the way this even speak, I shouldn't be spelling in English or spelling in any language. I should be spelling in Yoruba or Lai, because they've stolen a lot from us, even our language. You can imagine me. I should be communicating to the. If you want to even steal from African country, have the dignity of at least learning my whole language. If you must steal all the resources, must you also steal my expression? Because I'm even finding it hard to express myself, my feelings, the way it should be in my language. I can tell you that, but France, only you pay ni, ẹ fẹ́ wá ra kíní ní 80 cents. Ṣé ẹ gbádùn ṣá? But because you have made it hard for me to even express myself, you've stolen my language. I have to learn English. I am not an England person, but you can see me. You made me to be speaking English. You've stolen my language. No, I'm getting my language back. And once I get that back, I'll make sure that all my children from my generation back, from my generation forward like that, I make them know that you don't trust visitors, especially when they come to Africa, whatever the color they come in. They must learn a language so that when we are signing contracts with them, I think somebody has sold Africa. Yeah, it's possible they've sold Africa and they have given the Western world the license to do what? To steal from WhatsApp, from was láti jalè laptop. Oh my goodness, from was. I don't want to believe that I'm speaking English like this, but I'm so grateful that at least I'm killing English this night, because I don't want to be speaking anything that is stealing from me again. Okay, Caroline Wagi, wow. Hello, my best African couple. Hello, Abari Yeno. Whoa, I love this. Please tell me the meaning of this language, please. Whatever country you are calling from, I want you to use your language to communicate. I think that would be a code of conduct on this platform. When you try to speak little English, speak little English and express yourself in your mother tongue, and you teach us your African language. I think that's a very good way to go. We need to revive ourselves so that we can recover all that has been stolen from us. So with that, I come over to Nubi Me. It's nice having you on ground, Madam Nubi Me. Are you there? Can we hear you?
I am here, brother. I am here. Anyway, I'm talking to my son. He's at we're going to Haitian dance class. Interesting that you should mention that. So I am here, brother, and what you're saying is completely right. Okay, sweetie, I'll talk to you later. I'll be until bye. Bless. So yeah, so sorry. See, we got to keep our culture even here in the West. You know what I'm saying? Now, what you're saying is so true, because when I was in college, there was a professor, African professor at UGA, the University of Georgia in Athens. He did mention, he talked about during the revolution how Europe, and there's plenty of books to talk about that, wonderful African literature out there, people. Please learn it. There's more than Chinua Achebe. That's wonderful Nigerians that wrote about stuff that was happening in the 1930s, 1940s, 1950s. If we do not read about this, then we're going to be destined to fall into this. But what the Europeans did is their strategy was, the French and the English, was to give the African the presentation that once they gave him citizenship or culture into the European culture, he would be stripped of his Africanness and become a Frenchman or an Englishman or whatever colonial master clothes and identity that they did to it. It was deliberately set to do that, especially during the time of post-revolution, and as you know about His Majesty and Haile Selassie, and helping free up numerous African countries. But in contrast to that, to go against the revolution and freeing up the minds, the Europeans said, okay, we're going to enslave them in their mind and make them think they're good Englishmen in Africa. They are English Frenchmen in their own territory in Africa, but their minds have been shackled by French thought, English thought, German thought, South African thought. Who else was in that Berlin conference where they were cutting up Africa? Whoever else. So yes, brethren, you are right to be angry. And the fact that in this day and age, when we know better, that this stuff is happening in our face and people are indifferent, they want to watch Ice Spice and all this stupid rappers that the industry got focused in their face, because it's a whole big conglomerate. It's not just European, it's all of them. It's been a big conspiracy against Africa as a whole. And don't think your neo-colonialist Chinese people they are learning the A language, but they're teaching you their language. So it's like, I'm saying, yeah, they are learning the language, which is good, but let Africans not forget their own dialect as well, because it's an exchange for something that's whack. Okay, so go ahead, brother. What you were saying?
You got it right there. Something whack. So really, really whack. And is appalling to discover that They've been enforcing so-called democracy on the people of Niger, democracy on the lips, but it's not transforming the lives of the people because they have their stooge, they have their puppet there that are trying to be in charge of people's life. Whoa, we have someone here. My goodness, we have Madam Miss. Oh,
Bullock.
we have Miss Bullock. Whoa, welcome on board.
Greetings.
Hello.
Greetings.
Hello.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, madam. So, what would you say, Miss Bullock? What would you say about this nonsense that is happening to our beloved Nigerians? That they were selling their products. The French people were getting their product for, in short, macaroni or macron, whatever his name is, getting their product at less than $1, and now they put them out. The military people that they are always telling us that military is bad and the likes, they are the one now setting the right price of €200. What's your take on that?
Well, it's just, to me, it's highway robbery. I just, don't like to see at all what is going on over there. It's just think throughout the years or whatnot, how the continent itself has been taken advantage of by the Europeans, the Westerners or what have you. And that includes, in there China and the rest of them too. And I'm so glad to see that Nigerians are reacting the way that they are concerning this whole matter, because it should have been taking place, and I'm just glad to see our people on the continent standing up for themselves and fighting for their causes or whatnot. And our people should not have to suffer due to letting somebody else rob Africa of their resources or whatnot, because there are a lot of needy people, a lot of people that, they're just waiting to be helped. But then again, if our leaders or whatnot are not standing up and they're allowing these people to do that, then they're going to continue to do it. And I like the idea that some have, they're out some of the Europeans or whatnot away from the continent, at least France, one of the ones. I'm so glad to hear and see that they don't want to be a part of the continent anymore. And I just hope and pray that goes through, because I've been praying for the continent, and stuff, and the people, that they will receive all the help or whatnot that they need, whatever, to survive. And I just think it's just great to see them just starting it, and they will take heed and do something about what is going on, because that's, like I said, it's highway robbery as far as the money concerned and what they got away with, whatnot. And the continent don't owe, in my opinion, the continent don't owe France a dime.
Say it again, sister.
They don't owe France a dime. If anything, France owe them back what they stole from them, so many years, and stuff. And so I'm just happy to see things headed in the right direction, being seen that what's happening with Niger, whatnot. And it just warms my heart to see it, whatnot. And like I say, other people on the continent need to, follow suit and do what they need to do to make things come, to the light and to be better, for the continent and not worse. And that's basically what I have to say about the issue.
I'm so glad that we have you on ground today, because your contribution is just exactly the exact kind of word we need to be hearing about what is happening in Africa. And all Africans need to wake up. We need to wake up and open our eyes. You mentioned the fact that we should not just be carried away with just some part of the Western world. We should also look at the Chinese people, the whatever other countries that are coming in. And Nubimi mentioned about people that are even interested in learning our languages. Thank you for learning our languages. Thank you for introducing your languages to us. But we are all going to open our eyes and watch you very, very closely now, because we now know that it's like the rest of the world sees Africa as a basket that they can always steal from with a license. which was what
Yes.
they did when they divided Africa amidst themselves without our own contribution. I'm saying this because
Right.
I personally did a research that is a research video that I went to Badagry where they were exporting slaves out of Africa, taking our able-bodied men to go and develop their places over there, taking our resources cheaply. And that is what has made it, even for a country like Nigeria till date, we continue to export crude. Look at it, look at the meaning, look at the word crude. In Yoruba language, it's like saying useless oil, crude oil. Instead of processing it, what will it take for a country like my country to process their oil? Just because there are some external influences that are making sure that all the African continent continue to get stipend from their resources. Imagine what would have happened if we are processing this oil and we're selling to the rest of the world.
Right.
Well,
And it's not that they're so smart. We can process it even better. We're so innovative as African people. I'm from ID. I mean, the things that people come up with when they don't have the means, it's phenomenal. Now, the other thing I want to mention too, and thank you, Sister Bullock, for your input. Another thing I want to mention is, since this is Ethiopian New Year's is tomorrow, since we're talking about this 11 is Ethiopian New Year's, has always been, always will be, but that's why they want to put something else on our mind to replace it. But about the language, now what happened in Ethiopia when Italy tried to occupy Ethiopia, there was something interesting about the language. And the queen, I can't think of her name right now, Zeditu, brilliant queen. The Italians wrote a contract. They wrote one contract in Amharic, and then there was another contract in Italian. And literally the contract was different. Like there was just a clause in there that would have changed Ethiopia's sovereignty. But if it wasn't for the queen being literate in Italian, and crossing and looking at all dots and all I's and making sure that this contract that's in Amharic is exactly the same way in Italian. If she didn't do that, they would have lost. So mind you, with those Chinese learning contracts, they're probably going to be shady about it and probably give you a copy in one language and then put a slightly different clause in the Chinese language, knowing that we're not that perfect at it, but they're getting perfect at our language. Because one thing that my husband taught me, he does a lot of stuff in Ethiopian history and Kushite history. And what he did been teaching me lately is that the Kushite kings were so phenomenal in their public relations that some people claim that Ethiopians or the Kushites were polytheists, but they were not. They just knew how to speak to the Greeks. So when they talked to the Greeks about war, they mentioned the god Ares, or they mentioned Poseidon when they were talking about the seas. That wasn't necessarily saying that they believed in those. They just knew how to manipulate the Greeks with their language. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the early Ethiopians were so good at public relations internationally, they knew how to write so that it was public relations and kind of making those international connections. But in present day, people are using the same thing but manipulating it. And we have to be careful with those contracts, with the language, even as they're taking our language, writing contracts in different languages, making sure that, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we need linguistic people in Africa, all over the continent, in America, the whole diaspora, everybody. That's what we're talking about. The whole diaspora is in on this. It's all hands on deck. Zion is bigger than what they think. We are the creator. We are from the creator. And, you know, I know everybody's from different Muslim, traditionalists, animists, Rastas, Christians. We have to know that we have one creator, and good always will win over evil. And we just got to know, what side are you on? Are you on Abel's side Are you on Cain's side? Are you for the people? Are you against the people? But we as diaspora and those who support us need to speak out for Africa and the continent. And here's the thing, and I'm so sorry to keep going. The reason why they're attacking Africa so much is, guess what, guys? You already know Africa has the largest young people, bodies of young people in the world. So they already see in 50 years. Look at TikTok. Africa kids are taking over TikTok. Everybody's piano dancing, everything, the dancing. It's even there's some joy in it, but we can't be dancing all day long. There's time to be working and fighting and getting these youth equipped mentally, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, and all that, because people are trying to TikTok. China's trying to get them dancing their lives away, goofying their stuff. Other people are trying to get them to drug their lives away or sex their lives away. There is an attack on the African youth. And that's why they want to do war. Because if there's war, what's going to happen? Of course, they're going to recruit African youth. Of course, African youth are going to die. It's going to be Vietnam for Africa all over again. We must say no, period.
That is where we come in, because I'm even going to dedicate a particular day for TikTok, because I've gone through TikTok and I observed that is if I should say what is in my mind about TikTok, I think I'll reserve it for that listen, because I went through TikTok. I discovered that a lot of our youth are being damaged. There is nothing productively engaging for young minds on TikTok. You can't even sell a product on TikTok. All you just need to do is to come there with some flimsy, nakeding, booty shaking, and all the likes. We'll talk about that some other day. But these are the weapons that they are preparing against the African people, against the African continent. But what they've forgotten is that, unlike the yesteryears where they were doing all this, where France was just busy packing all the resources from Africa, using it to develop their land, they've forgotten that something has changed. Now, at the palm of our hand, we have this thing called the phone. And this is connecting the world. It's showing us what is happening across the globe. We can pass information more quickly than before. That when they lied before, there was no way of verifying their lies. But now we can actually follow what nonsense they are saying and actually read in between the lines. And that's why we must educate our children, whether they are in Africa or outside Africa, as Africans in diaspora. We must re-educate them to know where they are coming from, where they actually belong to, because these people, they are not ready to give up from stealing from us, because they have seen it as their birthright. And I was saying to the other time, I was telling some person, I said, take away Africa resources from France. France is just a common houseboy. France has nothing to offer the world.
Trailer trash, what we call it here. But actually, I wanted to, yes, thank you, panel family out there. It was Empress Taitu. So thank you for that, Empress Taitu. That's Empress Taitu who read that. Who that's her. So thank you, sister, for the correction. But go ahead, brother. I just wanted to acknowledge correcting.
Now, looking at what we said, part of what we said when we started, Caroline Wangi was saying, hello, my best African couple. She now spoke her language. Let's see how interesting it is for us to focus on our language. Little things that have been stolen from us. Let's start from there, bringing it back. Our language, our dressing, our culture, our substance, our mineral resources. We should start, every country now should start producing. You should start thinking on how to improve on the raw materials in their country. Oh wow, in their country, so that they don't get limited into crude oil, bitumen, crude bitumen, crude oil, crude gas, crude whatever. Let's process these things and sell to the world at the market price that will make the lives of our own citizens to be improved. Because why have the resources when you cannot produce? Based on my study in economics, there is what we call industrialization and localization of industry. You locate industry closer to the resources. So why do you come to Africa? Why do you come to Nigeria and take away our raw materials? And people are opening down their eyes. They take our raw materials back to their country, process it and brand it and bring it back to us at exorbitant prices, whereas they took it for nothing here. So now look at what Caroline says.
I think they call that extortion.
That's wickedness. That's even more than extortion. It says alo abari yenu. Alo abari yenu. Tell me if I pronounce it well. Alo abari yenu. And I think she tried to explain the meaning of that, saying that generally for two or more, mostly in Kenya, it says, how are you? Alo abari yenu. Hello, habari yenu. For my Kenyan people, I want to tell you, hello, habari yenu. And in Nigeria, West Africa, I will say, how are you is bawoni. Bawoni. You see that now? Hello, habari yenu. That's in Kenya. But in Africa, in Nigeria, we say bawoni. That's how are you. So, and we move over to Caroline Wange. Says, Miss Bullock, have you seen Kenya president with an electric rich car? Why don't we know where these cobalts come from? I think I did what's it called, a kind of video on where cobalt is coming from, and this is still from Africa. It's still from Africa, and you need to see how much peanuts that they are paying to children that should be schooling to be trained in something that is going to develop their mind. They are busy packing this cobalt for them, and they are being paid peanuts. I think it was even my daughter that did that presentation. So we need to wake up. We need to wake up, and in waking up, we must wake up our children. We must wake up our grandchildren. We must wake up our ancestors, because they put us in this mess. We need to even wake them up to come and rewrite their history, because we need to settle it once and for all. Whoever gave the license to Western world to steal from us, the European world to steal from us, we need to revisit it, because nobody should steal from nobody. The marketplace should be left for what? Price determination. And price determination can only come when you have demand and supply effectively allowed to choose their equilibrium price. That is not what is happening. Okay, so I come to Madam Louise. She says, I'm sorry, I lost the connection. You have the connection. You are free to log in back. We love your contribution. My internet is not working as it should be. Wow. Maybe it's one of those, I want spiritual realm. Maybe it's one of those guys, in the spirit realm trying to frustrate Africans. Just on a lighter mode. That being said, thanks for having me on. I will continue to pray for the continent. Keep on standing up for your cause. Yes, thank you so very much. We'll continue to pray for the continent, and we'll also continue to take the right step, because we are fed up. We have been fed, and we are fed up of all the nonsense that is happening across Africa. Every other countries of the world just believe that Africa is where they can come, take whatever they need, and rubbish the people there. Whereas our people are dying in poverty, they are dying in pain. Like Niger doesn't have light, and they are the main provider of uranium to France, that is having 24/7 light. You know what I'm going to say is that if this Western world do not really take care of, repent from what they are doing, in the next few years, what they are going to see is that they will soon be having electrical problem. Yeah. And Africa will be having constant light. That's what God is going to do. And He's not going to do it by word of mouth. We Africans, we need to make sure we pay attention to our country, our continent. If you are in the political field, think for your next generation. It's not everything about money. Look at the other president. What's it called? There was a particular president's son or whatever that was found with monies that he wanted to escape with. Does that make logical sense? They are making you to believe in papers, whereas you are supposed to believe in people, because according to the good books, it says the strength of a king is in the number of people, is in the multitude of people, not in the multitude of papers that they colored and they wrote a value that does not command value.
Trinkets. It's trinkets. Exactly.
You
Remember,
can
I was so flabbergasted when I came to the United States from Haiti and learned the history. And I was like, what? The Native Americans took beads for the land? Because that was the currency that they at that time made it. You know what I'm saying? Or the cowrie shells. So they give you all these cowrie shells.
yeah.
Okay, it's just ridiculous. So this money is fake. This currency, the real resource, like he said, is in the people. It's in the land. It's in our work. It's in our children. They want to sell us off for paper. And I was going to say, for those leaders and those people who allow leaders to siphon off Africa or South America or the Caribbean or any African run country for that matter, I want everybody in our countries to think of that person like the worst crackhead, meth addict, heroin addict in your house. The worst family member that will sell you out, that will sell grandma's good china, grandma's jewelry, heirloom art for the crack pipe, for that drug, for that currency called fake money, or whatever it is that they're getting. Please see that your leaders, your corrupt leaders, are nothing but meth head, crack addict, prostitutes who have given up their soul and given up your house for that little powder, white powder of fake power, fake white power called money and currency. Just if anybody thinks of that, like, then we're all guilty. So if we have a crackhead living in your house and you know he's stealing out of mom's purse to go get that money and taking her jewelry and things are missing, the TV, the radio, then you are to blame for turning your back and turning away and not telling mom and everybody in your family to pick up, to beat down Tyrone and kick him the hell out. I want us to really think about that. We can't be like, oh, our politicians are so corrupt, and we're watching them take it out, take the money out, and acting like Hunter Biden.
And will I call it the beautiful thing or the funny thing? The funny thing is that while France was busy stealing from the people of Niger, paying them common 80 cents. My goodness, 80 cents. That's pure wickedness. In Yoruba, we call that iwaika. Iwaika. That's wickedness. Iwaika. The attitude of wickedness.
Not even $1. 80 cents. Not even $1.
Not even $1. 80 cents. You are giving the people of Niger 80 cents for their own natural resources that is in their land. And when you are excavating these resources, you are polluting their land. You are exposing them to radioactive agents.
Polluting the water.
You are polluting the water. You are polluting the environment. They are exposed to something like that is cancerous.
Exactly.
On
purpose to kill the kids. What are you talking about? They're purposely doing like.
Whenever I look at this macaroni guy, Macron. Whenever I look at this Macron, some people are referring him as a little Macron. Whenever I look at the guy, I'm like, but this guy is even young. I thought that he will come up with some better lifestyle than what he's busy displaying there. He's continuing with the norms, with the wicked norms of exploitation of Africa. And they exploit Africa without correction, with this infantry that they can do and get away with it because they have the license. They've taken Africa as a corporation. You know, they've taken it as a corporation, and they've seen like, oh, you know, what are the people in Africa? We just get one idiot to be at the end of our fair using the process that is called demonstration of craze, which we are polished to be democracy. Democracy, my foot. Africa needs to think about the system of government that they will need to put in place for the benefit of their people, not for the benefit of our. The meaning of that is some people that I don't want to mention their name because only want to ballet. You know, it's very, very annoying to see that the people of Niger have been subjected to this, and is now when the rubbish, stupid, lying democracy that was installed, fake democracy, paper, white elephant democracy that they were putting on their head. You know, when that was removed and the military guys took over, now they have their uranium being sold for 200 euro. What does that mean? That means that most of the time that we complain, we follow the Western world to complain about some specific leaders in Africa, we are making a mistake. They have made us to believe a lie. That was how they tricked us, to the extent that they were killing this man, and all the rest of Africa was watching. They were killing Gaddafi, and the rest of Africa was watching, thinking that it's actually true, that they want to do one good thing there, only to find out that several years after the death of Gaddafi, they turned Libya to a nightmare of the world. In short, a lot of militia groups sprang up from that single country. And up to date, there is nothing that can be compared to what was obtainable during Gaddafi's era. They were fighting war, I was seeing electricity. But in my own country, we are not fighting war, there was no light, and there's been no light. And whenever we see light, we jubilate. Is that the kind of continent we want Africa to have? Is that the kind of continent that we want to continue to have, where the rest of the world, they exploit Africa, and when they exploit us cheaply, they get our resources, and they now tell the rest of Africa, you can now apply for visa lottery. Visa lottery, my foot. I don't need to be a citizen of your country before I fulfill my dream on earth, because me coming to your country, I'm even making your country richer, because I'm going to be spending money into your economy, whereas I can help build my life in Africa, be a king of my own. Where when you come, you beg me to come over to your place. You even have to pay the expense trip, because I don't want to give a little of my hard-earned money into a country that treats my people like trash. We think Africans should wake up with the mindset that getting a lottery to be in any Western world is actually nothing different from you being captured and taken as a slave, because they've destroyed your land, they've destroyed your place, so your place is not good enough to provide what you needed. So you need to now go over there and work as a slave, so that you can just foot the bill. I was watching a particular.
Can I say something too? First of all, I want to say thank you, April Sky, for sharing this on Facebook, because this is super important. April, thank you so much. But I also want to let you know, with this visa, these lotteries, they only pick a certain type of people to come into these Western worlds, and especially in America. And the certain type of Africans is a sellout type. You know, I'm saying not all. People have learned how to say the right answers. Yes, but some people who get it here, I'm not saying they're sellouts, but they look for personality type that could sell out Africa, that has more anger to it. They do not give visas to people who have pride in their country. They give it to people who are like, oh, I want to get out of here, it's terrible, and this and that and that. Then they already know that they can utilize. Just for anybody who wants to go and apply for a lottery thing, it's all a scam, and they take, like Hollywood. Another thing I wanted to say is, I was just talking about that to my son and my daughter about the Gaddafi situation and Libya, and how the inhumane, just what they did, and even how they have hung, they have murdered, they have assassinated leaders on live television. Yeah. But I always found it ironic, and I just want to tell, I'm putting a word picture in here. The way the West wants Africa to be is like how Jeffrey Epstein was with these women. And you know, in New Mexico, I'm from New Mexico, and he had a ranch there. I don't know if people know how many dead bodies they found all over New Mexico. Women in the 80s and 90s. Now we know why these women's bodies were coming up missing, now that we know the JE stuff. I'm gonna call them the G stuff. But it's so ironic how supposedly he died by suicide, but there was no footage of it. Nobody saw that. None of it. They cover up their people. Now, I'm not saying the man is alive, but it's so ironic how they devastate countries. They hung Saddam. They killed Gaddafi. They've murdered people in our faces. They've shot MLK. They, you know what I'm saying? Malcolm X, and the list goes on. Floyd. This devastation in our face. But see, they cover up their wickedness, and they're covered up the ones that are that have done the wicked. So they're going to keep on doing that. They're going to do that. They're going to cover their hands like they've covered the JE story. I don't even want to say that wicked man's name. So anyway, I just wanted to say, you know, thinking about Africa and lights, do we want Africa lit up like the industrial age of America? No, we do not want an industrial westernized Africa. We need to have our own plans. Like one of my mentors used to say, if you ain't got a plan for yourself, rest assured someone got it for you, and you're not gonna like it that much.
Thanks a lot for all this. And you know, the funniest stuff is that while they were killing the prophets in Africa, while they were killing the good people in Africa, people like Thomas Sankara and the likes, we were all looking, watching as if these people have been licensed to just alter the course of nature around the continent of Africa, as if there was nothing that we can do. But you know what? As God will have it, the invention of the West has helped to expose their secrets, that they are not as perfect as we used to think. They are not as good as we used to think. And when I'm talking of the West, I'm not
intelligent, I think.
Yeah, they are not even as intelligent as we used to think, because most of the time they just want easy way out. They don't want to bargain. They don't want ordinary laws of demand and supply to fix prices. No, they want to cause war, so that while you are busy getting distracted in Africa, they are bringing their planes, lowering it and packing all our resources while we are still busy fighting each other. And you can imagine someone like Macaroni and his country trying to tell us, I'm talking of Macron, in case you get to see this video, macaroni. So someone like Macron say macaroni. So someone like Macron and France trying to instigate Nigeria to fight his own brother, to go to war. You want to cause war in Africa so that you can now have ample chance to steal like an idiot. Because you have been stealing like a gorilla all this while. You do your gorilla thing, you're flying the plane, you take the resources, you get some donkey, you get some donkeys that are wearing human trousers and pants. They help you to organize the crime against their fellow African brothers in the continent. But now you want to do it mass, you want to do it en masse. You want us to be fighting each other, so that by the time Nigeria is busy fighting Niger, these other countries that are supporting Niger, they will launch at Nigeria. Nigeria that is not at war, is already struggling to survive. You want to now bring war here so that you can have access to uranium, so that the country where you are getting uranium from, my God, the way I'm biting my tongue this night.
Uranium from.
Uranium.
So light up their wickedness. To light up their wickedness in France, right? Keep the lights going on in France. What happens in France, right? No, that needs the lights out in France. There needs to be lights out in France. Sorry.
Well, France, the meaning of that is that very soon they will start taking light in France. so that you guys will understand the pain that the people of Niger who are even going through, not went through, the pain that an average Nigerians are going through, that they do not have access to light, whereas you are taking resources from them, you are using it to beautify your place, you are making it, I say, see Paris and die. What's that rubbish? Somebody was telling me, hey, you know what, just travel out, travel the world, see Paris and die. I don't need Paris, I don't need to see Paris and die, because it's not a good place you see, then you die. No, I want to see Africa. I want to see my Africa and be alive. I want to see my Africa. I want to touch the lives of youth, the lives of people across Africa, and I want to see it and be happy to say, wow, we did well during our time. We touched lives, we improved economy, we created jobs, we remove all the junk system of education that is not pleasing to us, because what Africa needs is Afrocentric system of education, the system of education that is determined by the needs of the community. The community determines what they need, and what they need determines the effective demand that is in the market, which will automatically stimulate its own supply. But what do you create for Africans? You want our students, you want our youth to go to spend expensive money to go to the four walls of the classes, only to study that Mongo Park discover Africa. Mongo Park discover one country. My goodness, what? Are you kidding me? They are teaching us how to study and label the intestine of an insect. How does that improve the economy of the country? How does that put food on the table? Little wonder we produce thousands, hundreds of thousands of graduates, and they cannot create job, because the system of education that we are practicing is the system of education that once they finish graduating from the school, they queue up in search for white collar job that is not there. No be me. I am really, really getting annoyed this night. Because
Well, it's okay to be annoyed, because if we just sit back and say, keep on watching, that's not the way either. So we have to get annoyed and get to action and drop these. She's April Sky's dropping some good knowledge. She talked about Victoria's Secret. We got to read that. You have to read that out loud. But yeah, there's not even white collar jobs here. Everything is slave labor. You feel me? There's nothing here. You want to come to the States, bro? You're gonna be working in this. You're gonna be working in it. You're gonna be spending your money, States or Europe. You're wasting your time. Stay at home. Work on yourself. There's YouTube University. The African. There's African. The multi. See, what's so wonderful is Yeshua says that even these rocks will proclaim my name. And I know we already spoke about this, but these stones that we're speaking through, these cell phones that we're speaking through, these are the stones that come straight off from Africa that people are digging. And so Africa is still helping us to connect and stay together. Again, I just believe in all the positive prophecies, whether biblical, Quran, I can't even think of the names of Ifa, all the prophecies, because you know what? There's no copyright. There's no copyright to truth. We all have it. The Most High has given every tribe, every nation, every tongue the truth, but the world has been deceived by this beast that the Bible talks about in Daniel, the statue and all that. I'm just ready. Like you said, I think we're all just so frustrated, and we see the attack on the youth. It's like I want to wake up the youth and give them a big massive shake, wake up, wake out of this dream, because you guys are the future, and they're trying to squash it. They have known this. I remember I had my daughter, who's 22 now. She was barely born, and I was watching a PBS special, and they were talking about the way of the world, how the aging of the world, the way Asia is aging rapidly, the way Europe is aging rapidly, and the end was that Africa was going to have the largest population of young people. So they have been planning and plotting since before then. They just put it on PBS so that people would be signaled to know what to do and what side to be on. So everybody would be on the right side of history, because it is over. It is done. You know, it is coming to a close.
So
And you know
true.
what it makes me think is coming to a close, brother? I'm so sorry. I saw this video on the Cetros uh WhatsApp. Did you see that tree that went through the car? What the
Seriously.
heck? You
Seriously.
know the Most High is working with us.
You know, the funniest stuff is that don't play with Africa. A lot of things can happen across the globe if Africa really, really sits back and displays some things that they have up their sleeves. It's just that a lot of Africans have been compromised, especially those at the top. They've been compromised. When I saw that video of a tree shooting out, you know, I think the video is probably over a year now. It's just resurfacing again. The tree shooting out of a car, I was just laughing. I said, it doesn't take the creator of the heavens and earth to deal with those that are causing problem for Africa. But what God usually wants is that when you are being oppressed, He wants you to also start thinking and start calling for your rights, demanding your rights, and start playing. You have a role to play. So God is not going to just jump down and say, you know what, I'm God, the creator of the heaven and earth. Africans, take back your resources. No, He's going to wake up the minds of the people. When the minds of the people are liberated from the shackles and the storyline of lies, just like what April Sky said. Let's read through that, because April Sky is doing justice to our discussion tonight. She said they cover up also by selling baths and body works and Victoria's Secret too. They are putting different sized ladies of all cultures as advertising to continue to make us feel we can trust them. They are trying to penetrate into our mind. Once they break the defense of the mind, then they have access to you and your resources. That is what we need to work on. We need to work on our
Right?
consciousness as Africans.
Penetrate is a loose. It's a very mild word. They are trying to rape the mind. They are really trying to rape the mind. Like
Perfect
that
expression.
works. Victoria's Secret. Let's go back. Nothing has changed since the slave trade, people. Nothing has changed. Just the same thing. It's been sex trafficking, body trafficking, human trafficking, drug sales, alcohol, tobacco, tea, salt. The number one rock that ever was sold is the salt rock. And they've been taking our rocks ever since. You feel me? Ever since. And rocking us to sleep on boats with drugs or pharmaceuticals. And you know, there's so much emotional, spiritual, mental breakdowns happening all across the world. And I'm hoping and praying that our indigenous people don't get caught up in that. Don't get caught up in that, because it's a mind rape, and a spiritual rape. No.
As painful as that is, they continue to manufacture product of lies, polish it, brand it, and sell it down here. Look at what Louis Bullock is saying. Caroline Wangi, I recently found out Gaddafi wasn't the villain they led us to believe he was. Yes, definitely. I heard it was actually for helping the continent, and the enemy made sure he wouldn't do that. If I tell you one of the plan of Gaddafi that made him the number one target for these 1% that are causing rudu in Africa, they are causing what we call in Africa rudu. Rudu means scatter, scatter. You know,
Can I
they
say about Gaddafi? Not that saying that he wasn't in his latter years, he wasn't trying to realize, oh snap, I made some bad friends and now I gotta redo it. Gaddafi did. I know even in His Majesty's times, I gotta do a little bit more history. But I think when His Majesty was coming up, Gaddafi wasn't all the way with Africa. He was kind of selling out. And unfortunately with Gaddafi, he found out too late and he was like, oh, I want to make amends. Not saying that he didn't do a good thing. Thank goodness that, okay, just like, you know, I like to think of Gaddafi kind of like Samson. You feel me?
yeah,
That he
yeah.
found after he was dealing with the Delilahs and the Delilahs, you know what I'm saying? And then you feel me? But unfortunately, unlike Samson killing or ruining the society uh, that arrested him, that society has arrested Libya, and we see what's happening right
Okay. So you can now see how loving these so-called powers that be are, for them to just strategically make sure they televise the killing of an African president without remorse, without anything. They were showing us how a whole president was hiding under the gutters. I remember that year, I was watching it right there in the office, and painful enough, we were all rejoicing that, oh, what do they name him as? They name him as there was a particular name they assigned to him, that whenever we see the word Gaddafi, that's what comes to our brain. Oh, that what's it called? Terrorist president, that terror has been captured. No, only for us to discover that because he was trying to ensure that Africa unites together to something like United African, so that they begin to have their own currency to trade amidst themselves and like. So those stuffs, those ideas were an insult to the plan, to the wish of the likes of Macaroni and the rest of the world. Even US is is not out of this. So they took him out. They took
Psychological. That's actually psychological warfare. And I don't know if you ever heard of the Willie
yeah.
Lynch. Have you ever heard of the Willie Lynch letters, brother?
No, but I've heard of psychological warfare.
Yes. And the Willie Lynch letters, it was how to keep a slave, how to make and keep a slave. So, some Willie Lynch man went around the islands and like how we have these teachers. Let me teach you how to make $1 million. Well, that type of thing. Nothing's new under the sun. He was like, let me teach you how to make a slave for 300 years. So one
Mm.
of the things that they did, they would take the biggest, baddest, rebellious slave and put him in front of the people and torture him and kill him in front of the people to teach the people a lesson, to scare the people from even thinking to do something like that. It would scare the mothers to even, it actually helped mothers on the slave plantation emasculate their sons, to be like, no, 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 don't be that one. Don't be that, don't be don't be that guy. Don't be the martyr. Don't die. So they would humiliate, even get down to a point of raping the man in front of his family and the community and kill him. So what that was the same thing as a Willie lynching happening in Africa on live TV. It was a psychological, don't even try to be the big baddest Negro on the block. We will have you on the block type of deal. Yes, sir.
You know the funny stuff? They should get ready because they just they were attacking one person. But nowadays, with their own technology, God has a funny side. He allows an idiot to create a very, very idiotic but useful instrument that will turn out to be the frustration of their life. If they have their way, if they have their way, they would have ensured that Africans do not have access to phone. Because now on your WhatsApp, on your Twitter, on your listening, you can get the latest information about what is going on. You can have opinion of people that are thinking better than yourself to tell you that, whoa, what you just witnessed in Gabon was not the right kind of coup. That's a topic for another day. Because while we're celebrating, a lot of Africans are celebrating, oh, there is the military are taking over countries. You see what I'm talking about? They just took light in Africa. They just took light.
Uh-huh.
You see why we need. Maybe you don't understand. I'm going to switch on. I'm, let me.
Live and direct.
It's good that you are seeing this. Can you see my face now?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
this is what.
And
See,
people, they
I'm using my. This is what is happening in 2023. This is where they get a lot of their resources from. See what is happening. Just give me a minute. We'll get back to this. No, be me. You can continue. Let me go and change the lights source here.
Okay. Well, people, I'm really more good at interrupting, so I don't know how to continue it. No, but I am talking to the youth and everyone who knows what's happening and who knows, like, I'm coming from a Rastafari perspective and on a spiritual perspective, a biblical perspective. For people who don't know, that's what His Majesty stood on. But we have to remember in the Revelations, it said that the creator is gonna there's a part where he says he is gonna end it before it gets too much. If it wasn't for his mercy, okay, there would be no flesh left. So we have to understand that we have to get behind Africa Unite, okay? And in EWE, as a you know who you are, as a lamb of the Most High, and we need to unite across the world. Things need to change, people. You're listening. You can make the difference. You can tell your children, talk to your children. Children, ask questions, get involved. And there is bigger places outside the US, outside of Europe, outside of whatever even the islands, okay? Get to working.
Well, thank you, thank you so very much, Nubimi, for standing in. And the good thing is that when you are lying, you need more lies to cover lies. But thank God, even during this live stream, they just confirmed how stupidly they have negatively impacted the continent of Africa. Imagine in 2023, there is no light. I was talking and everything went blank out. We shouldn't be talking about this in any part of Africa because almost all the resources that are using to generate electricity, to make life better, to make everything work, reside here in Africa. The electric, what's it called? The electric cars that the whole world is dancing around the sun about today, you are getting large chunk of it from what? From the DRC. You are getting coal bath from DRC. What you are using for your laptop and the likes, numerous gadgets, you are getting it from DRC and so many other African countries, yet we don't have light. Uranium that is used in powering the light in France is provided by the people of Niger. And let me tell you, Niger doesn't have electricity to enjoy. How can we go like this? To the extent that another country is selling your natural resources for 80 cents, is paying you 80 cents while he's making over 200 euro per kilo. Anyway, let me not be so angry. I just want to be enjoying my life because if you think about, if you allow everything that is happening in Africa, well, starting from the useless set of people that they force on us, they force them on us, and they call it demonstration of craze. Or you want ballet. So when you think about it, you now think about the external influences that are making sure that nothing grows in Africa. You might want to start developing BP, but whenever you get to that stage, just switch to your play mode. So let's read through what some persons are saying.
I'm
Madam
glad.
Clara,
I'll let you read through that, but I want to say what you're saying is correct because we can be angry and frustrated. And in the book of, Yeshua said, be angry, sin not. So sin
yeah,
is not trusting and not believing and not having faith. So we can be angry, but we can't sin. And I like to read the book of, I don't know if you ever heard of the Apocryphal books. There's a book called the Apocryphal, including
no,
the books with the Ethiopic Bible. So these are hidden Bibles that were sometimes you find it in the Catholic books, but you don't find it in the Protestant books. But there's a book called The Shepherd of Hermas. It's a
mm,
beautiful story. I would suggest everybody reads The Shepherd of Hermas because it is bella. But there's a part in where in chapter 3 in the Shepherd of Hermas where the woman who represents the church, who represents us, who represents Zion, who represents the bride the Mashiach, the bride, the good woman of God. You feel me? She comes in a vision to this shepherd, the shepherd of Hermas, and they're revealing a lot of revelations. But this is one thing she said in chapter 3, verse 11. That goes exactly, because I opened up the book while you were talking, and I was like, Father, where do you want me to read? Because it's really good to get the scriptures in sometimes. And I started reading this, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't make sense. But it does make sense, because your sentence made sense right after. It says, many shall hear, but when they hear, some of them shall be glad. And that's what we are. And others shall weep. Yet even these latter, if they hear and repent. So you hear leaders, future leaders, present leaders, current leaders, whatever. If you hear and repent, shall likewise be glad. Hear you, therefore, the parables of the tower, for I will reveal all things unto you. And trouble me no more about revelations, for these revelations have an end, seeing that they have been completed. Nevertheless, you will not cease asking for revelations, for you are shameless. So, okay, so that says a lot. We are looking for revelation. Show me a revelation. Show me. We have to have faith. The tower which you see is a building, is myself, the church, which was seen of you both now and for time. Ask therefore what you will concerning the tower, and I will reveal it unto you, and you may rejoice with the saints. Okay, so we are building this tower. We are part of this tower. We are the stones. We are the rocks. This whole thing is about the building. Remember, she says, this tower is myself, the assembly, the church. They say the church because that's European language, but it means the assembly, the people that come together, which was seen of you both now and aforetime. Which is, okay, so we've already been here, and that we are, and concerning this tower, I will reveal it unto you, that you may rejoice with the saints. So we have to rejoice, brother, but still speak up our voice. That's what I have to say, just to say what you're saying. Yes, we are happy, but we're done. We are done.
True. Thank God you clarified the fact that the assembling is needed in Africa. It is high time we started assembling ourselves, our children, our great grandchildren, just following the line to re educate them, to even monitor the system of education that is being introduced to them, so that they are not wired wrongly, like some of our parents were wired, even some of us were wired. You know, in one of the rewiring we need to do is to work on the kind of religious belief. You know, the religious system has been used to demarcate us, you know, to make us look like fighting each other, irrespective of the religion that we practice in Africa. Remember, the roads that are not properly constructed, the good amenities that are not there, is not going to be based on religion. You will suffer for it. Everybody, regardless of your religion, you will suffer for it. But when it comes to electoral period, electioneering period, they come with all this religious, oh, this person is not this, you need this particular religion, or you need this particular tribe. There, we should be very, very careful. That is not needed. What we need is what? Competency. The right persons to take us back to El Dorado. And that is where I come with I think I saw something from April Sky. April Sky,
Can I also say a lot of those things? Sorry, Miss April Sky. A lot
okay.
of those traditions that were being followed, especially in Nigeria, the European missionaries came. They missed the mark, anyways, and told our tribal people, Nigerians particularly, that what they were doing was demonic. And that is the same stuff that you find in the Old Testament, my friend. The same thing, the same dates, the same festivals, the same thing. These people were so biblically illiterate, they had the nerve to tell Africans that they were wrong and they were demonic. So we got to go back. Okay, so read what Miss Sky says. Go, Miss Sky.
Okay, April Sky says, I'm 43, and on top of that, I do know, but I wish I knew about being Rastafarian. I like that. Let's start from your age. April Sky, you're 43. Wow.
Still young
That means
baby.
you are my birthday mate. And you picking April as your name, it seems to me that we are born the same month. I'm born April 12th, 20. I said 20. April 12th,
20.
April 12th, 1980. So let me know your birthday, April Sky. Let me know
And
if
I'm
you
an
are
April
giving.
baby too, April. So yes, now there is
Wow.
on a show we had with Cetros a couple weeks back. It was a Rastafari Lion of Judah Society, our Rebbe. His name is
Yeah.
Ayadon. We had a wonderful, extensive conversation with him, and the Cetros have done really great, impartial studies on Rastafari, and we as a Rastafari family appreciate that. But April, if you want to know more, I would definitely go to Rastafari Israelites or the Rastafari channel. I think it's Rastafari Israelite, and then I think Yadin mentions other ones. So let me see, and I'll find out. I'll text it. I'll put it in the chat, sister, so that you know. But Rastafari Israelite will definitely get you to know what the real deal is. And Yadin, Ras Yadin, and Rastafari Jews. So check those out, Rastafari Israelites and Rastafari Jews channel, because you're gonna get the whole kit and caboodle, the biblical, the Hebrew, the Amharic, the whole thing, not just the whole Rastafari. Oh, I like Bob Marley rhythm. That kind of whitewashed or washed down, watered down, enriched, which is never enriched. Every time the Europeans say they're enriching something, please know that they're talking in opposites. It's an opposite day with them all the time. So, but the culture, I'm not saying all Europeans, but the culture has been that way, and we need to stop. And we need to stop it. The TikToking, we need to stop it. And we need to start talking. Okay? That's all I want to say.
Yeah, with respect to the TikToking thing, I don't know why I'm just pissed off with this, because I myself and my wife, we went through the
Because
TikTok. We discovered
people
that
created
it
it and they don't even let their kids watch it.
has no value. It has no value. It's all about you can't even sell a product there. You can't even sell anything sensible there. It's all about dancing, funny stuff, naked booty, and the likes, just some junks. So I was like, what's the value of this to our youth? And this is what our youth are pumping in like drugs.
To
They're just
degrade.
so addicted to it.
And
It's
again, back in America, I'm so sorry to interrupt, brother. I feel like
yeah.
Chakuti. Sorry, brother. Sorry, I have to play the role. I got to be both Nubian me and Chakuti. You know what I'm saying? So in American media culture, because Game Amp, this is what we focus on. We work on media literacy, and so in American culture, they used to call that blackface, brownface, slaps. It's a term where it was black people, black exploitation, where they just have black people in blackface dancing, goofing around, acting like idiots until they actually had black people doing the same. They call it step and fetch, step and fetching. You know what I'm saying? So it's like an international step and fetching thing. Like, everybody's dancing. Now, the thing about it is it's beautiful, because in terms of, okay, you see all these wonderful kids enjoying and celebrating, and they're dancing moves, and when it gets raunchy, it's crazy. um it's like there's a part of it that's like we could be celebrating for good stuff. Okay, we don't have to be celebrating this bad. So can we be dancing for something good? Because we're just dancing until, like, to our grave. We're dancing to our grave. And again, yeah, the one thing I can say about it is, to be honest, Bertram, the only good thing I can say about it sometimes is our children here in the United States, they watch music videos and they see, especially the young ones, they see Kids Bop and all kinds of crap, you know what I mean? That they take commercial music and they change it a little bit So they get the kids on the same commercial music, but they don't have the curses in it. And, you know, they all dancing. It's all European kids doing black dance and black kid stuff. The only reason why I like it is I'll make my daughter, yo, you're not watching this kids bop. I call it kids stop. And sometimes I'll put piano on, you know, because there's this new move in South Africa, piano dance. So I'm figuring, children, with all this dancing, can't we make a play? I mean, you guys play out a music song all day. So can we use that? Like, we can use that same art. We're not saying stop it, but can we put some context in it? There's so much African literature out there. Can we add some African literature to some piano music, and then do a piano play, like a game piano production? I mean, I'm putting that out there, especially for the Cetros people, because it's game amp. So let's game piano this, okay? Let's stick with the fun and dance, but let's make a message, okay? Because that's what reggae is all about. You know, reggae is about, hey, people love reggae, but do you listen to the words, or are you just listening to the beat? So I'm listening. I've seen these kids beat around, and the words behind their stuff is so narcissistic. It's so sensual. It's so not spiritual. So let's step it up, people, and understand that somebody's trying to sell you something, and you need media literacy. You need to understand what they're trying to sell you, because it's a whole bunch of, and a medium. It's spiritualism too. So which are you listening to? Are you listening to the creator and being a producer? You feel?
Yeah. So, with all this that we have said now, can you now all please let's support France? Let's support France so that they can take back Niger, so that they can continue to exploit Niger's resources without giving them up to 200 euro and revert them back to 80 cents, so that we can continue demonstration of craziness called democracy.
Or
What's
black Frenchmen, African Frenchmen. Show this
so
French Africans. French
so
Africans. No,
does that make sense?
not at
Does
all.
does it make sense
If you're
that
out of your mind.
we should go back and say, you know what, you guys, you are doing bad. Why must you take back uranium from the jokers? Mr. Macaroni riding on the bicycle. Oh, where's that? I think somebody said something here. But Louis Bullock says, I love the name you called it,
Call it
macaroni.
macaroni. It's over.
You know the funny stuff. There was one rhyme that we spoiled here in Nigeria when we are singing that rhyme. What we say, Mr. Macaroni riding on the bicycle, Mr. Macaroni pom pom pom. Now, if I want to really pronounce that name the way it should be pronounced in African dialect, it's called macaroni. So we cannot be macaronized into fighting each other because somebody just lost his uranium, his cheap uranium exploitation at the expense of the lives of the people, the good people of Niger that are just our next door neighbor here in Nigeria. I think macaroni should better think about the way they are relating with all the African countries that they have been sipping out their blood. Maybe one of these days we will look at the so-called revolution. I don't call that revolution. The so-called coup in this Gabon, the Gabon coup. Information reaching us is that is a fluke. Is a stage coup. Research is pumping here and there to show us that Gabon's coup is not actually the right one. That is the same family that has been ruling for how many years? About 50 or 55 years. Is the same family that someone from the family is coming up to take over the. Oh my goodness! That means Mr. Macaroni is trying his best to make sure that other remaining loyalist colony do not fall apart. But you know what? There is something that is written about the black Jews that once you begin to fall, just like it was written in the good book about Mordecai, that oh, once you have started to fall before the Jew, the black Jew this time, you will fall completely because you have been stealing from Africa, and it's time for nature to take its course on you because France is just a house boy when it comes to taking away the stealing that they have been doing to the people of Africa. Okay, now only the
That's
capital.
actually a very good African book called Houseboy. One should actually read that. That's a very good book. And in Creole, I didn't mean to interrupt you, bro, but in Creole, macaque, that's what I'm going to call him. Macaque, macaroni. Macaque is a
Macaroni,
monkey, a big monkey.
Mr.
Okay,
Mac, Mr.
macaque.
Mac,
Yeah.
Maca.
Happy birthday, October coming up. Okay, she named her dad just
Yeah,
left April.
say-
So
yeah.
we're blessed to have you, Miss April.
Oh,
Even though
oh.
April, October, those are very important Hebrew times. That's the head of the year. Those are really good times. Those are really
And
good.
that's when we have our own independence in Nigeria. October 1st
Okay,
was
October's
Nigeria's
a good day.
independence. Yeah.
October is always.
So
So your birthday is coming up soon, and October is always a very important time for Israelites all around the world. The Israelites in Africa, or the Jews, because that's Judah, and all the tribes, Benjamin, the Israelites all over the world. We are coming together. And again, it's not on a biblical thing, it's knowing a tribe and the creator and who we belong to. And that's my view.
I just remember something now. Please take note. Everyone listening or watching this live stream, please note that tomorrow we're having a very different kind of we're having a special live stream tomorrow, and we are looking at September 11th. Is it a date or some people playing with numbers to shake the world? We are going to be looking at the war dates. Now we're going to be looking at September 11, which is 9/11, and war dates. War dates. We want to really search the numbers. We want to see, is it that some people are sitting to play gambles with the lives of the people of the world, because we look at it is a kind of scan through the date. There seems to be a kind of pattern within generally observed world date. It's like some persons are calculatively distorting the economics of the world so that they can revamp and retake control. So tomorrow, keep it locked with us. I'm going to be sending out the flyers very soon. So it's a special live stream. I think we are already in September 11th. Oh, we just passed the midnight into it here in Nigeria. So we're going to be doing that later tonight, a live stream in which we are going to look at September 11th, what happened in September 11th, what has been happening in September 11th, what has been happening in all the world dates. So please bring it on. And that for you, Nubi me, please. I think Rasta, the what's it called? Uh, our guest, during the Rastafarian discussion that we did, the rabbi that came the last time, we told him that on September 11 we are going to host him. Please help us give him a reminder, and I hope to send a reminder quickly to him so that if he can make it, we will be happy for us to really look at September 11th.
Okay, I will definitely ask the LJS, ask Yadin and ask them to come through. We'll make that happen. We'll call today.
Okay, thank you so very much. So, April Sky, everything you need to know about Rastafarian, I'm sure by the time you get to listen to him, he's a very interesting person to be with. He seems to know everything sequentially. He explains it clearer than water. It flows. There is no dryness in him, especially when you're talking about something that you really believe in. There is this flow that comes around him. So you can have it locked down later tonight, where we'll be looking at September 11th and the war dates. Is it a fluke or somebody's playing a game with the rest of the world? Okay, my brothers and sisters, my legal name is April Mary Sky. Wow. I just changed my last name in court during a divorce in 2009. I love that so many are coming to an awareness together. Lovely, lovely. You
Well,
are so
AM
tuned.
Sky, AM Sky, you are right in the right place. You look like a really beautiful, touching sister. Come on, learn. I know that's why you had that name, and I share the same name, Marie, also in there.
Well,
So, yeah, so April and Marie. So,
well,
and like he said, if you listen a little bit, if you listen to Yadin, you're gonna get such wonderful information. And then, my husband is a really good teacher too, so he gets the information out too. And there's so many other wonderful conversations. So go to Rastafari Jew, Rastafari Israelite, but definitely check out the one that the Cetros blog to kind of give you some input. They got a little spicy there too. So it was really spicy, but we behaved ourselves as well. But it really brought out a lot of information, sister. So check that out.
I want you guys to see this discussion that is going on in the comment section. It's very interesting. I think Madam Caroline Owangi says, Miss Bullock, do you think the dollar is okay? Look at what Madam Claudia says. It says 80 cents to 200. Let me dramatize it. 80 cents to 200 euro. It's so ridiculous and evil. Let me tell you, it is more than ridiculous and evil. It is what we call in Africa, Ori Burukulonshe. That means what? They are just doing a mental gaga gogo. Go and check that out. That's my own English. Since you want to use English to confuse us, how can you be paying the owners of the resources 80 cents, not even up to $1? Huh? Not a little above 50 cents, the wrapper. 80 cents. That's what you are paying for the lives of the people of Nigerians. Niger, not Nigerians. Nigerians. And now they are selling the same raw material, of which I still don't want them to just be. I don't want Africans to just be selling raw materials. We should improve on what we are selling. And that is why I also, because as I'm talking to the rest of the world, to the rest of the African people, I'm also checkmating myself because I sell agricultural products. I sell some food products, plantain, snails. I talked about snails last week. I sell fish, dry African fishes. I sell foodstuffs. I sell palm oil and the likes. Then it got to me. I brought in some numbers of plantain. And lo and behold, I couldn't finish selling them before they got ripened. And as they were getting ripened, I was like, am I going to allow this to just be wasting?
Nope.
No. I said, what I'm going to do is to continue the chain. I don't want to be like Nigeria that is selling crude oil in their crude form. Crude form will not give you the real value for the money, especially people like us that are running a foundation to help assist the African youth. Where do we get money to fund this youth? Where do we get money to save the life of this youth from the streets? Because if you want to fund someone, if you want to support someone, you yourself must have some little amount of financial steadiness for you to be able to concentrate and do that properly. So I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to process it. The next thing, I went to the market myself. I didn't send anybody. Bought frying pan, bought giant spoon, bought a whole lot of sauce, and I started frying the plantain that were remaining. You'll be shocked what we got. Before the end of this stuff, I'm going to show you what I ended up with. When I saw what I ended up with, I said, this is a story, this is a lesson point for the continent of Africa. Because I just did what the West will do. The West will come to Africa, they will collect raw natural resources from us here cheaply. They will collect it cheaply. And when they collect it cheaply, they go and add value to it. They do proper branding, give it one fine name. We'll call it tush name. They give it one tush name and say, oh my God, they call it peanut butter. It's called ekpa here. Ekpa. They call it peanut butter. Peanut butter. When they are collecting ekpa from us, maybe a trailer load of ekpa can be $5. But when they bring a jar of peanut butter, is $500 or $200 or $100 or $50. Who is making us go crazy in Africa that we are not thinking on improving the quality? I think I should share my let me share my my screen with you guys to see the products that I'm talking of here. Maybe in the course of this discussion I'll bring it up. So Africans, please.
Wonder, with the peanuts, I know a lot of people here in the States, they're allergic to peanuts because there's a monocrop that they keep growing the same peanut. So I'm sure your peanut it's a different variety. I remember growing up in Haiti and eating fresh roasted peanuts with pepper and salt and on a cassava bread. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, you're bringing me back. Like that. Nobody knows that fresh, beautiful smell of roasted peanuts and then peanut butter. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they probably lost them right now, everybody, because of the Africa Light. So I'm hoping that he'll get the solar power in, but what he's talking about is very important. What the Cetros Foundation is really trying to encourage agricultural and fair, what they call it, fair trade in agriculture and food production and being innovative and not food waste. We have a lot of food waste in the West.
Exactly. Like what I was saying. Look at this. This is what I came up with. Can you see that?
I see it. Send it here. Can I wish we had the computer where you can just zap it to me. You know what I mean? Like that's
Okay, take it.
That's delicious. Thank you. They're delicious. Beautiful fried plantain.
This is just an example or a typical example of what is happening to us in Africa. We get the raw materials, we sell it out cheaply. These people buy it for nothing, whereas we can just add value to it, pimp it up, do a nice decoration on whatever we're doing, do the presentation very well, make sure it's tasty, make sure it has different flavor, and hula, the value.
There's no additives or preservatives or weird stuff to
No,
kill.
there is no preservative or what have you on this. This is just 100% natural. I and my wife fried it ourselves.
And charge you an arm and a leg for that in the States.
You said what?
They would charge you ridiculous amount of money for that in the States.
Definitely. But if you are ordering from us, it's going to be a giveaway. It's going to be a very, very cheap amount.
Foundation. Can you put it up one more time so I can take a screenshot? It's so beautiful.
Okay. I think I should do like a screen share or what have you. Let me share my screen if I can. I see this Macron picture staring at me. Macaroni. So oh my goodness.
Fun queso.
And it's not even only that. Look at our palm oil. Look at
beautiful.
Looks like palm oil. So this is directly from the farm.
Okay. Farm fresh.
So we Africans, we need to return back to agriculture. We need to return back. There was a theory in economics that is talking about people returning back to land, because in land conceals the riches of the earth. And for any economy to develop, I think it's under economics development theories that man needs to return back to agriculture, because and by doing that, you are returning back to land, because everything that is needed to develop any economy is gotten from the land. Now,
And
what
here's
I
the scary thing too. This happened to us in IET family. That happens all over the world, where the country people will come to the city in the concrete jungle looking for work, and then everything just falls apart out there, you know. And there's nothing. You cannot eat rock. You cannot eat cement. You cannot eat. So the country, the agriculture is so important. And just mostly remember, he who controls the food controls the society. So this commercialized, industrialized, agricultural monster that wants to, it's an obsessive compulsive person who wants to control everything and divvy out a little bit and keep most of it and hoarding. If they get their hands on the agriculture and the land, it is what they want to
okay,
control and kill and
okay,
poison
okay.
or stop.
I think I have a video on this. Look at
Minikewara chips any
okay, look at this. This no be me. You that you wanted to take a snapshot
Yeah,
of this.
yes,
So
yes.
this is the product that I just created here. Why? Because I look at preventing wastage. I got the plantain from the farm to sell, but because I look at it that the leftover are going to get wasted, what should I do? What's the economic sense in allowing it to rot? No. While it's ripened, let me transform it into something better by adding value to it. So, which was exactly what I did. So, why can't African countries look at the natural resources in your environment? Don't sell it just raw. You will not command good prices. Process it further, sell it to other African countries, sell it to the rest of the world. We should not be the consuming nation, we should be the producing nation. A little production here and there, we go extra mile to improve on whatever the situation in the economy. Now look at the people
And
of the
here's the thing, you're not super rich. You're not, you're just a poor man trying to do the best you can with what you have. So, what about those who are storing up riches and got too much houses, too much cars? What about those Africans who are listening right now that have an access of money and are being consumers instead of producers, or helping to fund production? Okay, you may not have the idea, but can you be a philanthropist and help the youth? Can you do this for your future, please, Elder?
that will be interesting. If anybody has that mindset to assist in supporting the youth, we have a foundation that we are using to support the youth. But even if it is not our foundation, the main thing is that focus on how to help fellow Africans get out of the problems, especially the youth. These are people that have a lot to offer, because I'm already 43, had 40, what was 40 years? Add 30 years to my years. I won't be as agile, as active as this. I pray I know that I'll still be relatively agile and active, but it will not be as I am presently. So we need to invest. It's time to invest back into the life of these youth. Because if, as I'm producing this, another set of Africans are producing one thing or the other there, we are going to be, before we know it, we are going to grow up and we are going to be employing this so-called labor, these youths that are seemingly getting out of the university and they are frustrated, and so many of them are taken to crime. Look at me frying this all by myself. So we should employ the dignity of labor, and we should pass it on to our children. It's not that some people in Africa, they don't want to do some manual jobs and the likes. Like some will be like, what? How can you say you are you are
That
a
is
graduate
it.
and
Now,
you
let
are
me let you know what that is, and that's a poison. There's a book called the something of leisure. It's a German book. It's the lifestyle of leisure. What happened is Europeans all wanted to live like the aristocrats, and that's what we were talking about, the whole insatiability. Like even when we look at medieval times, the tables, the food, the waste, everybody's eating, everybody's a drunkard. So there was a thing that in the 1500s, that, like, when you could look at the cosmetology magazines, when you look at the TikTok, when you look at the social media, nothing's new under the sun. So in their social media at the time, pictorials or the aristocracy or the monarchs, everybody wanted to have that lifestyle of leisure. Oh, we're not going to do manual labor. We're not going to be in the garden. We all want to be we all want to be like the nouveau riche, or we all want to live that yucky, what I call, they live really gross. Like, oh my gosh, they didn't even use toilets. They barely washed up. They covered themselves in perfume. Anyways, my point is, it's this whole illusion of leisure. So Africans can't get, or anybody, any indigenous people, they can't get caught up in that, because that's not even for the common people. That's for the so-called, quote, those clients, the super rich, the ridiculously rich, and everybody wants to live that lifestyle, and that's not reality. That's a illusion. That's a fantasy that even the aristocracy or the so-called royals or spoils, I want to call them spoils, were promoting, bragging, showing, and this is where we live in now. So ones and ones, you have to put in your effort. The thing about with every generation, your mama and your daddy worked 40 years to get the house. We want to work 20 years to get the house. The next generation want to do 10 years to get it. There is something about working and the ethics of working and working it out and becoming mature to handle all these quote unquote resources and be responsible. You have to start at the bottom to work your way at the top. You have to crawl to walk. Even in the movie industry, you got to pay your dues. You still got to pay your dues.
Okay, let's look at Caroline Wag. It says, why did they say no palm oil in Europe? I want to believe I'm missing out something, because if anybody is saying there is no palm oil in Europe, that's funny. Because palm oil, you can do your research. Palm oil happens to be one of the best oil, natural oil, gotten from the tree, gotten from the tree that is called palm tree. Palm tree, palm tree comes with palm fronds. It is those fronds that were matched. I did a video that is on here on this channel. You can look for it. That I showed the processing, how they mill out the oil and the lights. So these are natural, no additive. It's not like the one they are doing in the processing lab or what have you. So please Google about the benefit, the health benefit of palm oil. Look at palm oil here. This is it. Look at the benefit of palm oil compared to whatever ocorando oil that they are circulating around the world. Then you discover that if anybody is saying palm oil should not be taken, then that person's brain needs to be very, very well examined. Okay, with that being said, let's get back to our topic. The
And she's
main thing.
right. Olive trees have been destroyed. So a lot of fake olive oil have been distributed, I know, in the States and I think throughout Europe. So yeah, Sister Carolina was right about that. Sorry, brother. I just wanted to.
Okay, okay, that's a good contribution. That's lovely. Every guy says some people are overworked, that they buy a coffee before work rather than make it themselves because they are too tired. It's too easy to be sucked into consuming their ends. Wow. And it says all people could have taken turns with leisure, like going to help a neighbor or stranger so that person can get. Wow, wow, wow. I think.
And wonderful, Sister Sky, to implement that and be a ripple in your community. And I too, yeah, them coffees cost $5, $6 a pop. You can't leave star. I mean, for real, you got to be a star and have much bucks to be working with that Starbucks thing. It just takes one easy little pot, an espresso pot, a mocha pot that you get on Amazon, and make your coffee all day long. And yes, carry it with you. Take that thing with you. Yes, sister, make it happen. And yes, take that time to help people, to help ones and strangers in need, because that's how we're going to change it. and and talk about what's happening with African youth. Please be a voice in your community to tell ones what's happening and to make them aware and to remember the history, because it does take all of us to say it and remind ones that we're all in this. We're all in it. Believe it or not, they're just the rich and wicked people and greedy people come in all colors. Okay, in all sizes and shapes. That's what we're saying. We're all saying bad, wicked to all the wicked ones, and who want to take this matrix, fall into this matrix. So, sister, thank you for not being part of it and doing your part.
Lovely. And based on these contributions that we've gotten from you guys, I want to say this. It will be interesting that as you're watching this live stream, it's not just we are coming here to just talk and rant. We should be taking decisive action. So if within this week or some couple of weeks, you happen to carry out any activity that will affect not directly you now, but somebody else in your community, feel free to share the video with us. You can do a video. You are going to pay a visit to someone that is in the hospital, that needs help, someone at home that just needs care, those in old people's home. Just do this is a WhatsApp number. You can send such video to us here on WhatsApp. We'll be happy to play such videos during one of our live stream. I want videos to come in. Let's start because somebody like my wife will always quote, I thought about changing the world, but it wasn't possible to change the world until I discovered that I need to change myself first. It's after I've changed myself that I can now what see the change I'm looking for the world in the world through me. So, with that being said, let's try to affect our community positively because we at the Setros Vlog, we've been trying our best to affect our community positively, and a lot has been done. And we really appreciate those that has been helping us to achieve this. And if you have your some time, maybe after this live stream, you can go through our GoFundMe to see the video. Don't be in a rush to support our foundation, but see the video, see the videos that are there, see what we are doing to help our community. Our vision is to empower the African youth in training them in numerous crafts and skills. And when they are done with their training, we set them up in line with the business or the training that they've gone for. So this is the link to our GoFundMe page. This is the link. Kindly check us up on this link. Kindly check us up on this link. I've just dropped the link there. You see what we have been doing, and we still continue to do more because it's not just about complaining. When we complain, we educate and take step. So when we train our children and they see us taking decisive step to prevent them from falling into the error that we fell into or our fathers fell into in time past, they will learn from us because youth do not learn from your talking, they learn from your walking the talk. So here, what we do is we walk the talk. Okay, so as we are about bringing this live stream to a conclusion, okay, let's look at what April Sky said. 12.99 per month at Panera restaurant. Get one large iced coffee every day. You can imagine. I still think it's a lot, and that's the drink offered are not wholesome. They are full of corn syrup and cause disease. You can imagine that. When you can actually cook your own meal, you can actually get something. I think if at all anything is going to make me consider anyway, don't let me talk too much. I want to believe that Africa has a lot of opportunity to get natural food, natural food from natural organic seeds and the like here in Africa. Africa awaits its creator, is what Madam Claudia is saying. Okay, Africa is saying, I should have given you more, but I share a little around. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you. Every Sky, we really, really appreciate you because you have always been there for us all the while. We appreciate you and we know that whatever you are giving is really, really worth more than whatever figure, physical figure we are seeing there. Our desire is to touch lives. Please try your best to touch the lives of every or anyone around you because that is how we can change the world. We are complaining about the Western world taking Africa for a ride. Please don't take any other African people for a ride, whether home or abroad. Let's be our brothers' keepers. And for those that are spoiling the name of the continent because you have been taken as a puppet of the Francais, the Francois, the macaroni, and the likes. Please desist from it because it's going to boomerang one day. So, Nubi me, what will be your parting gifts this night?
Love our creator, love our fellow man. And, you know, I don't know if you can hear me, but the interruption is coming through. You know what I mean? The interruption,
What is
you know. Can you
what is
hear
happening
me?
to your? Yes, yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, they're interrupting. That's what's happening. But they can never interrupt the truth. So I said, keep on loving Yahweh Elohim, Yahweh Sabayote. We will win. We shall win. Good will always triumph over evil, like His Majesty says. And every year, there's transformations, and sometimes things happen in our lives. Just like you had a transformation in 2020, but you made it. The Creator has used it to change, for you to change yourself, change your family, change lives, change the foundation, and change diapers. At the right? So change what the Most High wants us to do, but He doesn't want to get us to have little chump change like 80 cents to something that we should be having at least $2 to. Okay, so let's change and get our sense to the Most High together, okay, and not sell out for little dollars and pennies and cents. Okay, don't lose your sense for cents. Okay, children, youth, we need you. Keep on searching for the truth.
Whoa, whoa. Thank you so very much, Madam Nubimi. It's such an honor to be live and direct with everyone here, Caroline Wagi, April Sky, Madam Claudia, and which other person? This our beautiful friend that did so much today, Madam Louise
Hello?
Bullock.
Yes.
Yeah, Louis Bullock, we really appreciate having you on ground with us right here in the studio. Please, for everyone seeing this video, we want to say, please try not to allow Africa to be an history. Meaning of that is, do not let them take away Africa from us because we have nowhere to call home. Even if you are given the nationality of another country, they will tell you that is your second home, not your real home. And second home can never be like your real home. Africa is our real home. Let's do all that we can do to make sure that we fight for Africa, sustain Africa, empower Africa, dream Africa, realize our dream in Africa. Even if it takes us traveling around the world, remember, Ilela Bosimioko, the meaning of that is you can only come home to rest after walking all the day. So where are you going to rest? Are you going to rest in a country that you have helped foreigners to destroy? Please don't let us fight any African country, but let us fight to protect every other African country from greedious people like macaroni and the like.
Monkey Ronnie.
Macaroni.
Monkey Ronnie. Monkey Ronnie.
So with that being said, we'll see everyone later tonight when we shall be discussing. This later tonight in our live stream is always Sundays only, but September 11 is a date that is different. We just need to talk about this and look at September 11. Was it just a date? Was it a distraction? Was it planned out? Was it carried out by who? And who carried out what? And all the date series in war. Why are they having the same pattern? Let's look through this.
And what time is that, brethren? What time? Should we be
That
ready?
will be same time, 11 p.m.
Yes.
Nigerian time.
11
p.m. Nigerian time.
So
Yeah.
yes,
So-
4 p.m. or something, California time and all that stuff. 11 p.m. I time. Time, Nigeria.
So please go on Google, search what time is 11 p.m. Nigerian time over there with you, so that you can get yourself prepared, because it's going to be a rolozantois. Don't mind my English. My English is all coined from African languages.
And it is our New Year's time. Let's not forget, it's a special time, Ethiopian New Year time. The Bible is in the Bible. Ethiopia is the number one thing that has stayed consistently next to Egypt in the Bible. And according to certain mythologies and agricultural, what they call I forgot what they call those books, farmers' almanacs. 9/11 is the day that Miriam and Jesus was born. Miriam and Yeshua, Jesus and Mary, the Virgin had a Virgo. You know what I'm saying? Type of deal.
Yeah.
So this is what we have heard, and it's a very interesting time. So we can talk more about that on 9/11.
Okay. So from all of us at Cetral's Vlog, want to say thank you so very much. Love you for all joining us and showing us the love and support for our youth and the dream to change Africa, not just by talking or by walking the talk. So till later tonight, when we'll be going further, I want to say love you. Take good care of yourself. So I'm going to be leaving you with this this video.
Leave you with this thought. The revolutionary government in Niger has just increased the price of uranium that it exports on the world market to 200 euros per kilogram. It was previously paying, or rather charging, 80 cents. The French were getting Niger's uranium for 80 cents per kilogram, and the world market price is 200 euros per kilogram, which is what little Macron will have to pay from now on. You see, it pays to stand up for your rights. That's what the people in Niger have done. It remains to be seen if the people in Nigeria will now do the same.